Hi friends! Today I'm going to be making pumpkin scones. I don't usually choose scones at the coffee shop because sometimes it's too dry in the mouthfeel, but this is an exception. It was so delicious and I love everything with pumpkins. I want to make my own in my kitchen and I think I did a great job. It's perfect for sweet breakfast and 4 o'clock snacks with the freshly brewed coffee. Let's get started. Scoop out the seeds and pulp. Wrap in a piece of plastic and microwave it for 5 to 6 minutes at 800 watt. Meanwhile, chop the toasted walnut. Scrape out the flesh from the cooked pumpkin. Mash it with a fork into a chunky paste. Preheat the oven to 180 degrees Celsius. Now, let's mix the wet ingredients. Put your pureed pumpkin into the medium-sized bowl. Add yogurt and 1 large egg. Whisk well until evenly mixed. Sift together all-purpose flour and baking powder and cinnamon powder and just a little bit of nutmeg into a shallow container. Even out the spices into the all-purpose flour. Put in unsalted butter into the container. Slice your butter in the flour. The butter should be cold enough to cut through. Then cut into matchsticks. Do not touch too much to your butter with your fingers. Your butter will melt with your body temperature and your scone ends up hard like rocks. You can use a curved pie blender and a bowl, but this is much easier to work with, for me. Dust all the strips with the flour. Rotate the container and chop the butter into small dice. You can use food processor for this process. But it doesn't take too long to do this process, and I don't want to clean up my food processor. Continue chopping the butter in the flour until the butter becomes smaller than the piece or looks like panko breadcrumbs. Pour half of the pumpkin mixture and toss to combine. Be careful with not melting the butter and try not to knead the dough. Do not develop the gluten to make the light and flaky pumpkin scones. Add the pumpkin mixture to the dry spot and toss to combine. Just to moisten all the dry parts with the pumpkin and egg mixture. Scrape off the dough every once in a while to make it evenly moist. It looks like the pumpkin mixture is enough, so leave it out. You want to make sure the scone dough should not be too wet but not too dry. It's just good to put all the ingredients together. Dust your cutting board or working surface with a generous amount of all-purpose flour. Transfer your pumpkin scone dough onto the cutting board and put it together with a scraper. It looks just like a mess, but no worries, it's going to be a good scone dough. Pat it flat to hold it together and cut into 3. Put it onto itself and pat it out to keep it together. Repeat the process 2 more times. It looks like it doesn't keep it together, but this is what you want. The butter and flour make the layers, and when you bake it, the butter melts in the dough and it makes the pocket inside the dough, and your scone will be light and flaky, and the outside is so crispy. If your pumpkin has too much moisture, adjust the consistency with the amount of the wet ingredients to add the dry ingredients. Be sure to leave it out if your dough is moist enough. Cut into two and put it onto the other. Pat it out into a 20 by 12 cm rectangle. Cut into 6 squares and cut each square into 2 and make 12 triangles. Look at that sharp edges. This means the dough is perfect in the moisture. Remove excess flour with your dry brush and brush a little bit of milk on the surface. What this does is make a thin crust on top, and it makes it easy to apply the icing. While baking, let's make the icing. Mix powdered sugar and milk in a small bowl and adjust the consistency like this. When you drop it and froth slowly, that's the best consistency. If your icing is too thin, it doesn't stay on your pumpkin scones. But if you don't like your scone too sweet, it's better to make it thinner than mine. Take your pumpkin scones out from the oven and put it on the wire rack and leave it for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, brush the icing while still warm. It will be dry out quickly. Set your wire rack on the baking tray to catch the excess icing. After applying all the pumpkin scones, add cinnamon powder to the rest of the icing. If your icing is too thick, add a little bit of milk to adjust the consistency. Here comes the fun part. Put your cinnamon icing into the cone, the small piping bag, and draw the lines on the pumpkin scone. How cute are they? Let it dry and transfer to a serving dish. You can see how soft the pumpkin scone is, and it's very airy and so light and so moist. The scone itself is not so sweet, so that you can adjust the sweetness with your icing on top. Or you can just skip the icing. Enjoy your beautiful autumn day with the pumpkin scones and freshly brewed coffee. It's good for your Halloween dessert. Give it a try and let me know how you like it. Thank you for watching the video. Give me a big thumbs up and share the video with your friends and families. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Follow me on the social media and tag me on your post if you give it a try. And go to my website for the printable recipe and more information. And my store on Amazon has pretty much everything that I'm using in my video. Stay safe and stay healthy, and I will see you soon. Bye!